Chidi, how dare you disobey me like this? Look at me when I'm talking to you.
Chidi's mother screamed at him. You want to marry a beggar, a common house girl? She called Amara trash. She tried to kick her out. But then the phone rang. It was the richest man in Nigeria calling to check on his daughter. You have to see the look on Mama's face when she realizes the house girl she insulted is worth more than her entire village. If you're listening right now, help me prove something wrong. My mother said I wouldn't even reach 2,000 subscribers, but I believe stories like this deserve to be heard. Help me show her that these tales matter. Please subscribe to Nap and Tales, and let's keep breathing life into stories that were never meant to stay silent. Now, let's continue. The Port Harcourt sun was very hot on Aba Road. Chidi Okafor sat in his white Range Rover, stuck in traffic. He watched the busy street from his cool, air-conditioned car. Motorcycle taxi drivers weaved dangerously through tiny gaps between cars. Street sellers pressed their faces against car windows. They sold everything from bottled water to phone chargers. Beggars moved between vehicles with their hands out, asking for money. Chidi understood being desperate, but not in the way these street people did. He was 32 years old. He had built his business from one shipping container of Chinese electronics to many warehouses across the Niger Delta. His desperation was different. It came from his mother. Chidi, you are getting old, Mama had said that morning at breakfast. Her voice had that special tone that meant she would not accept any arguments. Your friend Emeka is already married. Even your useless cousin Ikenna, the one who cannot keep a job, even he has a wife now. Do you want me to die before I hold my grandchildren? The traffic moved forward just a little bit. Chidi's phone buzzed. It was probably another business call. His company was called Okafor Global Ventures. It brought in heavy machines and industrial equipment from other countries. Business was very good. So good that he had recently moved his mother from their family home in Rumwokoro to a new mansion he built in the expensive GRA Phase 2 neighborhood. So good that his younger brother was studying petroleum engineering at the University of Port Harcourt using his money. So good that extended family members he barely remembered now called him often, asking for help with money. But none of that mattered to Mama. She wanted grandchildren, and she wanted them right away. A young woman appeared at his window. She interrupted his thoughts. Unlike the aggressive sellers who banged on glass and shouted, she simply stood there. A tray of water packets balanced on her head. Her wrapper cloth was faded. You could tell it had been washed many times until the original pattern was barely visible. Her blouse was clean, but very worn at the elbows. But what caught Chidi's attention was her face. She was not begging. She was not pleading with her eyes. She did not put on the exaggerated expressions of poverty that he had grown used to seeing. Instead, she stood with a kind of quiet dignity. Her dark eyes were steady and intelligent. When their eyes met, she did not look away. She did not adopt the submissive posture he had come to expect. She simply waited. Something made him lower his window. "Water, sir," she said. Her voice was soft but clear. Her English was surprisingly good and proper. It did not have the street accent he had expected. 5 packets for 100 naira. Before he could respond, a motorcycle taxi driver swerved too close. The woman had to step back quickly. Her tray wobbled dangerously. Several packets tumbled to the ground. Chidi watched as she quickly bent to pick them up. She checked each one for damage before carefully putting them back on her tray. "You should not be in this kind of traffic," the motorcycle driver shouted at her as he passed. "Do you want someone to hit you?" The woman did not respond to the insult. She simply straightened her wrapper, adjusted her tray, and continued walking between the cars with the same quiet dignity. "Hey!" Chidi found himself calling out before he could think about it. "Come back." She turned, surprised, and walked back to his window. "How much for all of it?" he asked, pointing to her tray. "Sir," She looked confused. The whole tray? How much? She calculated quickly in her head. 2,000 naira, sir. But it is a lot. You cannot drink all of them before they go bad. I did not ask if I could drink them, Chidi said. He pulled out his wallet. He took out a clean 5,000 naira note and handed it to her. Keep the change. Her eyes got very wide. Sir, this is too much. Take it, he said. Buy something to eat. And please, get off this road before you get hurt. She stared at the money in her hand as if she could not quite believe it was real. When she looked up at him again, there was something in her eyes. There was surprise, yes, but also a kind of assessment. It was as if she were trying to figure out what kind of man would do this. Thank you, sir, she said quietly. Then, surprising him again, she added, God bless you, not just for the money. Thank you for seeing me as human. Before he could respond, the traffic surged forward. He had to turn his attention back to driving. When he glanced in his rearview mirror a moment later, she had disappeared back into the chaos of the street. He should have forgotten about her. In a city of millions, one street seller should have been nothing more than a quick moment in his day. But something about her stayed with him as he drove to his office in the Transamadi industrial area. The way she had carried herself, the intelligence in her eyes, the grammatical precision of her English, so different from her circumstances. That evening, Chidi arrived at his mother's house for their usual Thursday dinner. The mansion was exactly the kind his mother had always dreamed of. It was white and gleaming, with tall pillars and a fountain in the circular driveway. The generator hummed constantly in the background. The electricity company had cut the power again, as usual. My son! Mama came out of the house as his driver opened the car door. She was a strong woman in her late 50s. She was dressed in expensive Ankara print fabric with a matching head tie that added another 6 inches to her height. Gold jewelry glinted at her throat and wrists. These were gifts from Chidi over the years. Look at your time. 7:30. I have been waiting since 6 o'clock. Mama, I told you I had a meeting. 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 Always meeting. When will you get time to meet a wife? Chidi held back a sigh as he followed her into the house. The interior was exactly as he had designed it. It had marble floors, a chandelier in the entrance hall, and imported furniture in the living room. His mother had wanted to show it off at every opportunity. She hosted elaborate dinners and prayer meetings, just so the neighbors could see how far her son had brought her. But tonight, something was different. As they entered the dining room, Chidi realized they were not alone. His younger brother Obinna was there, which was normal. But so were Auntie Ngozi, his mother's younger sister. Uncle Chukwuma, his father's elder brother, was there too. And most worrying of all was Mama Adaizi, the neighborhood's most famous matchmaker. Ah, Chidi, my dear. Mama Adaizi stood up. Her large body moved toward him. Look how handsome you have grown. If I were a young girl, I would grab you immediately. The other adults laughed. Chidi felt a familiar sense of dread settling over him. Mama, what is going on? Sit down first. Let us eat, his mother said. She pointed to the elaborately set table. Their housegirl, Blessing, began bringing out dishes. There was jollof rice, fried plantain, pepper soup with goat meat, and salad. It was far too much food for a simple Thursday dinner. They ate in relative silence. The adults made small talk about politics. They talked about how the president was not doing well. They complained about fuel prices. Petrol had reached 600 naira per litre. They discussed the latest society wedding. The reception had cost 50 million naira. 50 million for one day. Finally, after the plates were cleared and Blessing brought out dessert, Mama cleared her throat. Dessert was another sign this was a serious occasion. His mother only served dessert at important gatherings. Chidi, you know that we love you. Here it comes, Chidi thought. You have done so much for this family. This house, Obina's school fees, everything. You carry it all. We thank God for you every day. Mama, let me finish. She held up her hand. But my son, you will be 33 next month. You should not wait any longer. Your father, if he were alive, would be very worried by now. The mention of his late father was a tactical move. Papa had died 5 years ago from complications of diabetes. This had left Chidi as the family's man of the house at just 27. Uncle Chukwuma leaned forward. Your mama has a point, Chidi. In our culture, a man who reaches your age should already be married and have children. That is how it is. I know, Uncle, but... I swear, Obina said, using Port Harcourt slang for emphasis. All my friends are settling down. Even the ones who do not have jobs have wives. Watch how you talk, Mama snapped at Obina before turning back to Chidi. That is why I called Mama Adais. She knows many fine girls from good families, educated girls, respectable girls. Mama Adais smiled, showing the gap between her front teeth. My dear, I have found the perfect girl for you. Her name is Ifeoma. She works for Shell as a petroleum engineer. She is a beautiful girl with light skin. She is from Anambra, but her family has lived in Port Harcourt for a long time. Her father owns a hotel on D-Line Street. I can arrange for you to meet her. Mama, please. Chidi set down his water glass carefully. I appreciate this, but I am not interested in arranged meetings. The room went silent. Even Blessing, who was clearing dishes in the corner, froze. You are not interested. Mama's voice was dangerously quiet. Chidi, what did you just say? I said I will find someone on my own. When I am ready. When you are ready. Auntie Ngozi's voice was sharp. Should your mama become old before you are ready? Do you want her to die before she sees her grandchildren? That is not fair. What is not fair is that you are wasting time. Mama was on her feet now. Her voice was rising. All your friends have settled down. Even your former classmate, Tundi, the one who is not very smart, even he is married with 2 children. But you, who have money and intelligence and everything, you are acting too busy. Mama, calm down. Your blood pressure. My blood pressure will kill me. Because of you! She pressed her hand dramatically to her chest. God forbid bad things, but if I die today, you killed me. A person who refuses to marry and give me grandchildren. Okay, madam, take it easy, Uncle Chukwuma said. But his eyes on Chidi were stern. Chidi, your mama has the right to worry. You can at least meet the girl. Meeting does not mean you must marry her. Chidi looked around the table. Every face was turned toward him, expectant and judging. This was how Nigerian families operated. They applied group pressure until the individual gave in. He had seen it happen countless times. Cousins were pressured into careers they did not want. Siblings were forced into marriages that looked good on paper but fell apart in private. I will think about it, he said finally. He knew it was the only way to end the conversation. But Mama was not satisfied with that. Think about what? Chidi, I give you 1 month. 1 month to bring a woman to this house. If you do not bring anybody, I will arrange everything with Mama Adais. Do you hear me? Mama. 1 month. She slammed her hand on the table. The dishes rattled. I am tired of your bachelor life. Do you want me to be a laughingstock in this neighborhood? All my friends' children are married and have children. Some have even become grandmothers. But me, I wait and wait and wait for you to be ready. There was no arguing with her when she got like this. Chidi had learned that lesson years ago. Yes, Mama, he said quietly. Good. Now Mama Adeyezi will give you Ifeoma's number. Call her, take her out, talk to her. If she does not work out, We will find another one. But 1 month. That is your deadline. Later, as Chidi prepared to leave, Obinna pulled him aside in the driveway. Brother, you should just get married quickly, please, his younger brother said. He kept his voice low. Mama has been worrying me constantly. Every day it is, your brother this, your brother that. Plus, see this, house you built for her. If you marry, she will leave you alone and focus on her grandchildren. Is that all marriage is to you people? A solution to Mama's boredom? Obinna shrugged. Brother, it is not easy to be single in Nigeria, especially when you have money. Everybody will pressure you. You should just pick one girl, marry her, and have 1 or 2 children. After that, do what you want. That is how it works. That is terrible advice, but it is the truth. Obinna grinned. Besides, you see all these fine girls at the club when we go out. Just pick one, take care of her family, and marry quickly. It is not only you who will enjoy it. Mama will relax too. As Chidi's driver pulled out of the compound, he thought about his brother's words. The cynicism of it all. Marriage reduced to a transaction, a box to check, a problem to solve. His father had loved his mother. They had built something real together before his death. That is what Chidi wanted. Not an arrangement, not a solution to family pressure. But as he looked at his phone and saw Mama Adaisi had already sent him Ifeoma's number, along with a photo of a beautiful, light-skinned woman in business clothes, he wondered if that kind of love even existed anymore in their social circle. Every woman he met seemed to mentally calculate his net worth before deciding how charming to be. The woman from the traffic came back to his mind, the way she had looked at him. Not with calculation, but with genuine gratitude, as if his kindness had been unexpected, as if she was not used to being seen as human. Get off this road before you get hurt, he had told her. He wondered if she had listened. 2 days later, Chidi was driving himself home, late from the office. It was past 9 at night. The usual heavy traffic had thinned to a sparse flow of night travellers. He was on Stadium Road, heading toward his house in Rumwebekwe, when he saw her. She was limping along the roadside. One hand was pressed against her ribs. Her selling tray was nowhere in sight. Even in the dim streetlights, he could see that her wrapper was torn. Her blouse was stained with what looked like blood. Chidi slowed his car, pulled over, and got out. Hey, are you okay? She looked up. Recognition flashed across her face. Water, sir, she said. Then she seemed to realize what she had just said. A painful laugh escaped her lips. Sorry, I do not even have water anymore. Up close, he could see she had been beaten. Her lower lip was split. A bruise was already forming on her cheek. What happened to you? She hesitated. Then she seemed to decide that lying would be pointless. Area boys. They said I was selling in their territory without paying them. They took all my money and broke my tray. She touched her ribs carefully. They kicked me many times. Chidi felt a surge of anger. Area boys were local thugs who terrorized small traders and sellers. They were a constant menace in Port Harcourt. He had heard stories of sellers being beaten, raped, even killed for refusing to pay protection money. Have you been to a hospital? She laughed again, that same painful sound. Hospital? Sir, I cannot even afford medicine, much less a hospital. He made a decision. Get in the car. Sir, I am taking you to a hospital. No, no, sir. I do not want to cause you trouble. I am not asking. His voice was firm, but not unkind. You are hurt. You need medical attention. Get in the car. She stared at him for a long moment. He could see the calculation in her eyes. Accepting help from a stranger, from a man, especially at night, was dangerous for a woman in her position. But pain and exhaustion seemed to win out over caution. Thank you, sir, she said quietly. She allowed him to help her into the passenger seat. As they drove toward the nearest private clinic, Chidi called ahead to alert them. The staff knew him. He had brought injured workers there before, and he always paid promptly, which made him a valued client. "What is your name?" he asked as they drove. "Amara, sir." "I am Chidi, and you do not have to call me sir every sentence." A small smile appeared on her swollen lips. "Yes, sir. Okay." "Do you have family in Port Harcourt?" The smile vanished. "No. My people are far away." "Where are you staying?" Another long pause. "I live in a Face Me I Face You in Diobu." Face Me I Face You was the Nigerian term for those cramped tenement houses. Multiple families shared a single corridor. The rooms were barely big enough for a mattress. Privacy was a luxury. Safety was never guaranteed, especially for a young woman living alone. They arrived at the clinic. Dr. Adeleke, a middle-aged man with kind eyes and a serious manner, examined Amara while Chidi waited outside. 20 minutes later, the doctor came out. "She has 3 cracked ribs, extensive bruising, and a mild concussion," he reported. "I have bandaged her ribs, given her pain medication, and stitched up a cut on her back that she probably did not even know was there. But Mr. Okafor, that girl needs rest. At least a week of minimal movement. Otherwise, those ribs might not heal properly." "I understand." "And," Dr. Adelek lowered his voice, "I have seen this before. The pattern of injuries. She was beaten by professionals. Men who know how to hurt without leaving marks that will attract police attention. If she goes back to selling immediately, they will come for her again." Chidi felt his jaw tighten. "Thank you, doctor." When he went back into the examination room, Amara was dressed again. She was moving slowly and carefully. She tried to smile when she saw him, but winced instead. "The doctor said I will be okay. Thank you so much for bringing me." "Where will you go now?" The question seemed to catch her off guard. "My room. In Diobu. The doctor said you need to rest for at least a week. How will you eat if you are not selling?" "I will manage. God will provide." Chidi looked at her. He really looked at her. Despite the beating, despite the pain, despite everything, there was still that dignity in her eyes, that refusal to beg, that quiet strength. He made another decision, one that would have shocked him if he had time to think about it. "Come to my mother's house." "Sir?" "My mother needs someone to help around the house. Cleaning, cooking, that sort of thing. She has been complaining that her current housegirl is lazy. You can stay there for a week and rest. Help with light chores when you feel better. She will feed you, and I will pay you 50,000 naira at the end of the week." Amara's eyes got very wide. 50,000 naira was more than she would make in 3 months of selling water. "But why, sir? You do not know me. I could be a thief. I could be anything." "Are you?" "No. But how would you know?" "Because," Chidi said simply, "I trust my instincts about people. And my instincts say you are a good person in a bad situation." Amara blinked rapidly. He realized she was fighting back tears. "Plus," he added with a slight smile, "my mother is terrifying. She will watch you like a hawk. You will not be able to steal anything even if you wanted to." That surprised a real laugh out of her. She immediately regretted it as it made her ribs hurt. "Is it yes or no? Because I am not making this offer twice." "Yes," she said softly. "Thank you. Thank you." As they drove to his mother's house, Chidi wondered what exactly he was doing. Taking a stranger home. Someone he knew nothing about except that she sold water in traffic and had been beaten by thugs. Mama would have questions. Lots of them. But something about Amara felt right. Like Providence had put her in his path for a reason. He just hoped that reason was not to make his life more complicated than it already was. It was nearly 11 at night when Chidi pulled up to his mother's compound. The lights were still on. Mama never slept early. She claimed that old age had already affected her, so why waste time sleeping? As he helped Amara out of the car, moving slowly because of her injuries, the front door burst open. Mama came out. Her nightgown billowed behind her. "Chidi! What happened? I have been trying to call you. Do you know what time it is?" Then she saw Amara and stopped short. "Who is this?" "Mama, calm down. This is Amara. She was attacked by area boys tonight. I took her to Dr. Adeleke." "Attacked? Jesus Christ!" Mama hurried down the steps. Her annoyance transformed instantly into concern. She might be demanding and overwhelming, but she had a soft heart for suffering. "My child, did they hurt you?" She looked at Amara's battered appearance, her torn clothes, the way she held herself as if every breath hurt. "Yes, Ma," Amara said quietly. Her head was slightly bowed in respect. "Oh my, look at what is happening in this country. The government does nothing. They only beat poor people." Mama turned to Chidi. "You took her to the hospital?" "Yes. Dr. Adeleke treated her. But Mama, she has nowhere safe to rest. Her place is in Diobu, and she lives alone. I thought maybe she could stay here for a week. Help around the house while she heals." Mama's eyes narrowed. Chidi could see her mental calculations. Strange girl, brought home by her son late at night, injured but still young and presumably pretty under the bruises. "Help around the house," Mama repeated slowly. "I know what you are thinking," Chidi said in English, lowering his voice. "It is not like that. She needs help. That is all." Mama looked at him for a long moment. Then she turned her gaze to Amara. "My child, can you cook?" "Yes, Ma." "Can you clean?" "Yes, Ma." "Do you know respect?" "Yes, Ma." "You are not a thief?" "No, Ma." Mama circled her slowly, like a general inspecting a recruit. "You are pretty," she said finally. "Even with all this beating, a person can see you have a face. How old are you?" 24, Ma." "Same age as my Obina. Do you have family?" Amara hesitated just a fraction too long. "My parents are dead. I have one uncle in Aba, but we do not talk much." Mama turned back to Chidi. "She can stay, but Blessing will watch her very well. If there is any nonsense, she will leave immediately. Do you hear me?" "Yes, Mama. Thank you." "Thank me for what? If I do not help, who will help?" She motioned to Amara. "Come, my dear. Let me show you where you will sleep. Tomorrow we will find better clothes for you. This one you are wearing is completely ruined." As Mama led Amara into the house, calling for Blessing to prepare the guest room, Chidi felt a mix of relief and worry. He had solved one problem. Amara had a safe place to heal, but he had potentially created another. His mother had accepted Amara as a temporary housegirl. What would she say when she found out that Chidi had been thinking about her in a very different way? Because as much as he had tried to tell himself this was just charity, just basic human decency, he could not deny the truth. Something about Amara had captivated him from that first moment in traffic. The way she carried herself with dignity, despite her circumstances. The intelligence in her eyes. Her refusal to lower herself even when desperate. Her educated way of speaking that hinted at a background far different from her current situation. Who was she really? And what circumstances had reduced a woman who spoke like she had been to university to selling water in traffic? He was about to find out, because 1 week in his mother's house was plenty of time for secrets to emerge. Nigerian houses had a way of revealing the truth about people, especially when his mother was watching. The next morning, Chidi arrived at his mother's house early. He said he was dropping off some documents she had asked for about property taxes. Really, he wanted to check on Amara. He found her in the kitchen with Blessing and his mother. She was sitting on a low stool because standing was still painful. Despite her injuries, she was already working. She was peeling and slicing vegetables for the afternoon's pepper soup. Mama, she should be resting. Did they beat your sense away? Mama did not even look up from the okra she was washing. I did not tell her to work. She insisted that she wanted to help. Besides, sitting down while peeling vegetables is not hard work. Good morning, sir, Amara said quietly. She did not meet his eyes. There was something different about her this morning. Her swollen face had been cleaned and treated with ointment. Someone, probably Blessing, had helped her bathe and change into one of Mama's old wrappers and blouses. Both were far better quality than her torn clothes from yesterday. Her hair had been pulled back neatly. Even battered and bruised, she was beautiful. Not in the carefully constructed way of the society girls who attended his social events, with their expensive hair extensions and designer makeup, but in a natural, honest way that was somehow more striking. How are your ribs? He asked. Better, sir. The medicine the doctor gave me is working. She woke up at 5 in the morning and helped Blessing sweep the compound, Mama reported with approval. Even when I told her to rest, she refused. She said she cannot eat free food. Chidi felt something twist in his chest. Here was a woman who had been beaten half to death less than 12 hours ago. Her first instinct upon waking in a comfortable house was to work for her keep. You need to rest, he insisted. Dr. Adeleki was serious about that. I can rest after I finish this, sir. Amara kept her eyes on the vegetables. Her knife moved with practiced skill despite her injuries. Blessing, a plump girl of about 19 with a playful smile, leaned toward Amara. You are wasting your time. Our boss does not listen when he has decided something. You should just rest, a little before he gets upset. I am not getting upset, Chidi started, but Mama cut him off. Chidi, go sit down in the living room. Let us women handle this place. If you want to make yourself useful, go call a binner. That boy should have woken up by now, but he is sleeping like a log. Properly dismissed, Chidi went to the living room, but he found himself watching the kitchen through the doorway. He could hear the 3 women talking as they worked. Mama was asking Amara questions about her cooking skills. Blessing was chattering about the latest Nollywood gossip. Amara was responding politely but carefully. There was still so much he did not know about her, and the more he watched her, the more he wanted to know. His phone rang. It was a business call about a delayed shipment from China. By the time he finished handling that problem, it was almost 10 in the morning. When he went to say goodbye, he found Mama alone in the kitchen. Amara had finally been sent to rest. Mama, I have to go. Sit down, Mama commanded. She pointed to a chair. He sat. That girl, Mama said. She settled into her own seat with a cup of tea. What is her real story? I told you. She was selling water in traffic. And you just decided you wanted to help her. You, who does not even give money to beggars at church. Mama's eyes were sharp. Chidi, I gave birth to you. I know you. Something about this girl is drawing you. I can see it in your eyes. Mama, please, do not lie to me. The way you look at her, it is like you have never seen a woman before. Chidi felt his face grow warm. I am just... She reminds me of something. What? He struggled to put it into words. You know how Papa used to talk about his time in the village, before he made it. How people treated him like he was nothing because he was poor. Mama's face softened. Her late husband's humble origins had been both a source of pride, because he had built himself up from nothing, and occasional embarrassment because his relatives were mostly poor villagers. Amara gets treated the same way, Chidi continued. I saw it in traffic. People shouting at her, pushing her around, looking through her like she does not exist. But she carries herself with dignity anyway. Like she knows her worth even if nobody else sees it. So this is pity? No. He met his mother's eyes. It is respect, I guess. Recognition of something real in a world full of fake people. Mama sipped her tea thoughtfully. She has better education than she is showing, that I have already seen. The way she talks when she forgets to use street language is proper English. And see how she cuts vegetables. It is not rough like a village girl. Somebody taught her well. You think she is hiding something? Everybody is hiding something, my son. The question is whether what she is hiding will hurt you. It was a fair point. Chidi had learned in business that people's secrets often came with price tags. Already called Dr. Adalek this morning, Mama continued. He will come check on her tomorrow. Make sure everything is okay. If they really damaged her ribs, she could have problems later. Thank you, Mama. Thank me for what? She waved dismissively. But Chidi, you remember you have 1 month to bring a woman to this house. 2 weeks have already passed. You cannot bring this one. She gestured toward where Amara was resting. Have you forgotten about Ifeoma, the shell girl? I have not forgotten. Then call her. Today. Promise me. Mama, promise me. Her voice got sharper. Or I will call Mama Adiz myself and arrange everything immediately. Defeated, Chidi nodded. I will call her. Good. Mama stood up, ending the conversation. Now go. You have wasted enough time here. A person would think you do not have a business to run. As Chidi drove to his office, he thought about his mother's words. 2 weeks gone from his 1 month deadline. And what had he done? Instead of seriously courting any of the suitable women constantly being thrown at him, he had become fascinated with a mysterious girl who sold water in traffic. She was now recuperating in his mother's guest room. He pulled out his phone at a red light and looked at Ifeoma's number. It was still saved from Mama Adiz's message. The woman in the photo was beautiful. She had light skin, perfect makeup, and professional polish. Everything a man in his position should want. But when he closed his eyes, it was not Ifeoma's face he saw. It was Amara's steady gaze, that quiet dignity, that surprising strength. He put the phone away without calling. Some decisions needed more thought. Over the next 3 days, Amara became part of the household routine. Despite Chidi's protests and Dr. Adalek's warnings, she insisted on helping with small tasks. She folded laundry, prepared vegetables, and swept the already clean floors. She had what Mama called pride. The kind that would not accept charity without giving something in return. But it was in the quiet moments that Chidi learned the most about her. Tuesday evening, he had come by to drop off money for Mama's housekeeping. He found Amara in the compound teaching Obina mathematics. His younger brother was supposed to be studying for a petroleum engineering exam, but he had been struggling with the calculus. Blessing had mentioned it to Amara, who had offered to help. Chidi stood in the doorway, watching as Amara explained differential equations. She did it with the ease of someone who had studied them thoroughly. Her English was perfect now. There was no street accent, no local language, just clear, educated speech. See here, she was saying. She pointed to Obina's notebook. You are making this harder than it needs to be. When you are finding the derivative of a composite function, you just apply the chain rule step by step. Obina, who had been complaining about calculus for weeks, actually seemed to understand. Ah, I see it now. So I just multiply the outside derivative by the inside derivative. Exactly. Amara smiled. Chidi saw how her whole face transformed. The guarded expression disappeared. It was replaced by genuine warmth. Try this one on your own. As Obina worked through the problem, Chidi stepped into view. You studied engineering? Amara looked up, startled. No, sir. I like mathematics. That is not just liking mathematics. That is university-level calculus. She looked away. He saw the walls going back up. I read many books, That is all. Books about university calculus. In a face me I face you in Diobu. Brother, you are coming to spoil my tutorial, Obina complained. Amara has been helping me way better than all those weak teachers at my school. Chidi let it go, but his curiosity deepened. Who was this woman? Thursday evening, he came by again. He said he was bringing Mama's favorite Zobo drink from a vendor she liked. Really, he wanted to see Amara. He found her in the kitchen preparing dinner while Mama watched Nollywood on the big television in the living room. You are moving better, he observed. Her ribs were healing well. The bruises on her face had faded from purple to yellowish green. The medicine is good, and Mama feeds me well. She smiled slightly. Too well. I will gain weight if I stay here long. Would that be so bad? For someone who needs to carry water on her head? Yes. The reminder of her future, returning to the streets to sell in dangerous traffic, bothered him more than it should. Amara, you do not have to go back to that. There are other jobs. Better jobs. Safer jobs. With cracked ribs and no certificate. Who will hire me? You are educated. You could teach or... Sir, respectfully, you do not understand how Nigeria works for people like me. She set down the knife she had been using to cut fish. If I go apply for a teaching job, they will ask for a certificate. I do not have one. They will ask for a recommendation letter. I do not have one. Sometimes they even ask for a police report to make sure I am not a thief. I cannot afford that. But you have skills. Skills do not pay rent, sir. Skills do not put food in my stomach. I have tried to apply for many jobs. You know what they told me? That I am too beautiful. Their wives would not agree to hire me. Or they said I needed to see them in private first. She paused. And you know what that means. The bitterness in her voice was clear. Chidi had heard such stories before. Young women were forced to trade sexual favors for jobs, for security, for basic survival. It was one of Nigeria's open secrets. Society claimed to value virtue while systematically exploiting women. I am sorry, he said quietly. That should not happen. But it does happen. Every day. She returned to cutting the fish with more force than necessary. At least when I sell water, it is my choice. It is honest work. Nobody can say I did anything immoral to get it. The kitchen door swung open. Blessing bounced in, unaware of the tense atmosphere. Amara, Mama said you should come watch the film with us. It is that new one with Mercy Johnson. It is so good. Amara glanced at Chidi. Go ahead, he said. I will finish this. After she left, he stood in the kitchen. His hands moved automatically through the familiar motions of food preparation. His mother had made sure all her sons knew how to cook. In case you marry a lazy wife, she had said. But his mind was not on the food. It was on Amara's words. The reality she had described was far from his world of business deals and comfortable homes. He had built his wealth through hard work and smart investments, yes, but also through privileges he had never questioned. His gender, his connections, his access to money. What would his life look like if he had been born female? Poor? Without family networks? The question unsettled him. Later that night, after dinner was served and Chidi had stayed far longer than he had planned, Mama had insisted he eat with them. He found himself alone with Amara on the veranda. Mama and Blessing had gone inside to watch the rest of their Nollywood movie. Obina was in his room gaming. Can I ask you something? Chidi said. He leaned against the railing. Amara, sitting on the steps, looked up carefully. Yes, sir. Why do you speak two different ways? Sometimes street language, sometimes perfect English, sometimes village girl, sometimes university graduate. She was quiet for so long he thought she would not answer. Then she said one word. Survival. What do you mean? In Nigeria, Who you are depends on who you are talking to. She had switched deliberately to simpler speech. If I talk like I have education to area boys, they will beat me more. They will say I am acting superior. If I talk to a madam at the market with big English, they will add to the price. They will say I have money. So I learned to blend, to be what people expect to see. But what about who you really are? Another long pause. Who I really am does not matter on the streets. It only causes trouble. It matters to me. She looked at him then. Really looked at him. He saw something in her eyes. Surprise, confusion, and something that might have been hope. Why? She asked softly. She dropped the street accent. Why does someone like you care about someone like me? Because I see you. The real you. Not the survival mask. You do not know the real me. Then let me. He moved to sit beside her on the steps. He was careful to keep a respectful distance. I am not expecting anything. I do not want anything from you. I just want to understand. Why? It was a fair question. It deserved an honest answer. Because in my world, everyone wants something from me. Money, connections, status. But you did not ask for any of this. You tried to refuse help. That is so rare I do not even have words. For it. Amara's laugh was soft and sad. Maybe that is because I know nothing is free in this world. Every help has a price. I am just waiting to hear what yours is. The cynicism in her voice hurt him. Not every help. Sir, respectfully, I have been on these streets. I have seen things. Good men, bad men, they all want something. The question is just what they want and what you can afford to pay. What if I told you I genuinely want nothing except to see you safe and okay? I would say you are lying to yourself. But there was no anger in her words, just tired knowledge. Even if you believe it now, eventually something will change. That is how life is. Chidi wanted to argue, to convince her that she was wrong about him. But how could he, when he was not even sure she was wrong? Yes, his initial help had been charitable impulse. But now he was drawn to her in a way that went beyond charity. Was that fair to her? Was he just another person who wanted something? Before he could respond, Mama's voice rang out from inside. Amara, come help me find the remote control. This useless thing has disappeared again. Amara stood, moving carefully. I should go. Wait. Chidi stood too. Tomorrow is Saturday. My deadline with Mama is 1 week from Monday. She has arranged for me to meet Ifeoma, the shell engineer. Okay. I do not want to go. Amara looked confused. So do not go. It is not that simple. Mama will... Sir, I do not understand why you are telling me this. Her voice was carefully neutral. Your marriage plans are not my business. Amara. Mama's voice was louder now, impatient. I have to go, Amara said. She hurried inside before Chidi could explain what he had been trying to say. Which was just as well, because he was not entirely sure himself. All he knew was that the thought of meeting Ifeoma felt wrong. All he wanted was to keep talking to the mysterious woman who sold water in traffic and solved calculus problems. Like breathing. Friday morning brought an unexpected visitor to Mama's compound. It was Auntie Ngozi, along with 2 of her friends and a woman Chidi had never seen before. They arrived wearing expensive Ankara prints and gold jewelry. Their perfume announced their presence 3 minutes before they did. Chidi had stopped by to drop off money for Mama's shopping. He was trapped in the living room when the group descended. Ah, Chidi, my dear. Auntie Ngozi kissed both his cheeks with dramatic affection. See how handsome you look this morning? Tell me, did you go to the gym? You look like you gained muscle. He had not, but Nigerian aunties never let facts interfere with flattery. Good morning, Auntie. Ladies. He nodded politely to the other women. This is Mrs. Adesua. Auntie Ngozi pointed to the unfamiliar woman. She was a stern-looking lady in her 60s with tribal marks on her cheeks. She helps our church with marriage matters. Very experienced. She has arranged over 500 marriages. Alarm bells rang in Chidi's head. Auntie, I do not think... Chidi! Mama came out from the kitchen, wearing her best receiving guest smile. I did not know you were coming. Okay, sit down, sit down. Blessing, bring drinks for our guests. What followed was an hour of what Chidi could only describe as torture. Mrs. Adesua had brought a folder of photographs. These were potential wives from good families with proper upbringing and childbearing hips. This one is Chiamaka. Mrs. Adesua presented a photo like a car salesman showing his best model. 26 years old, finished her youth service. Her father has a shop in a bar. No university degree, but she can cook very well. See her shape? That one can give you 10 children, no problem. This other one, Nkiru, has a higher national diploma from Port Harcourt Polytechnic. She works at a bank. Light skin, born-again Christian. The only problem is she already has 2 children, but small children do not spoil marriage. You can still marry her. On and on it went. Each woman's worth was reduced to her education level, skin tone, childbearing potential, and family wealth. Chidi felt sick. Thank you, Mrs. Adesua, he finally interrupted, but I am not interested in arranged viewing. When I am ready to marry, I will find someone on my own. The room went silent. Mama's smile became fixed and dangerous. Find someone on your own, Auntie Ngozi repeated slowly. Like how? All your friends who are finding on their own, who did they marry? Prostitutes? Gold diggers? Lagos girls who only want to eat your money and run? I did not say I would marry the wrong person. But that is what will happen. Mrs. Adesua's voice was sharp. Young men nowadays, you think love will put food on the table. Marriage is a business arrangement. You provide security, she provides children and takes care of the home. Simple. With respect, Ma, that is not the kind of marriage I want. Then what do you want? Mama had found her voice again. Should we wait until you turn 50? Until all the good girls have married other people? Until you become a laughingstock? The kitchen door swung open. Amara appeared with a tray of drinks. There was Maltina, Fanta, and Sprite in iced glasses. She had clearly heard everything. Chidi saw the way she kept her eyes down, her movements quiet and small, as if trying to disappear. Thank you, dear, Mrs. Adesua said dismissively, then did a double take. Oh my, but this one is beautiful. Madam Okafor, who is your house girl? She is just helping temporarily, Mama said quickly. She was hurt by area boys. My son brought her here to rest. Mrs. Adesua's eyes travelled over Amara with an assessing gaze. She is too beautiful. Madam, you should be careful. Beautiful housegirls in the house are dangerous. They can steal your son's attention. She is not that kind of girl, Mama said firmly. She is here to work, that is all. All the same. Be watchful. Mrs. Adesua turned back to Chidi. Young man, I will give you until Monday. After that, I will personally select a suitable wife for you. Your mama will arrange the introduction. If you do not marry her, that is your business. But at least you will give her a chance. Mrs. Adesua, I appreciate your concern, but... No buts. She stood, gathering her purse with finality. Monday. If you do not come with your own choice, I will bring my choice. Your mama agrees with me, right, Madam Okafor? Mama hesitated for just a second. Long enough for Chidi to see she felt conflicted. Then she nodded. I agree. After the visitors left in their cloud of perfume and judgmental energy, Chidi confronted his mother. Mama, you cannot seriously be agreeing to this, letting Mrs. Adesua choose my wife like I am buying a car. Then bring your own. Mama's voice rose. I gave you 1 month deadline. 3 weeks have passed. You did not call Ifeoma. You did not call anybody. All you do is come here every day, pretending you want to check on that girl. She pointed toward the kitchen, where Amara had wisely retreated. Mama. Do not mama me. You think I am blind? I see how you look at her, how you find excuses to come here. Chidi, that girl is a house girl. She has no family, no money, no nothing. You can mess around with that kind of girl, but you cannot marry her. Do you hear me? The words hit him like a physical blow. I am not messing around with anyone. Then what are you doing? Why every day are you here, following her with your eyes like a fool? If you like her, go sleep with her and finish. But marriage, over my dead body. Mama! Chidi was genuinely shocked. His mother had always been conservative and religious. To hear her casually suggest he should use Amara sexually, but never consider her for marriage, was jarring. What? You think I do not know how men behave? Your papa himself, God rest his soul, he had 1 or 2 girls on the side before he married me. It is normal. But he knew that who you marry is not who you play with. That girl can warm your bed, but she cannot sit at the table with your business partners. Do you understand the difference? No, Mama. I do not understand that difference, and I do not want to. He left before he said something he would regret. His mother's voice followed him. Monday, Chidi, if you do not bring a better woman to this house by Monday, I will choose for you. In his car, Chidi sat with his hands gripping the steering wheel. He was trying to calm his racing heart. His mother's words had revealed something ugly. The class consciousness that ran deep in Nigerian society. The belief that people were categorized by birth, by wealth, by breeding. And that those categories were sacred and unchangeable. Amara was not good enough because she was poor. Never mind her intelligence, her dignity, her strength. Never mind that she tutored university-level calculus or spoke with refined grammar when she forgot to hide it. She sold water in traffic. She lived in a face-me-I-face-you. She had no family connections. Therefore, she was suitable for sex but not for marriage. The hypocrisy of it made him want to scream. His phone rang. It was Obinna. Brother, what happened? Mama is very upset. She said you disrespected her in front of her friends. I did not disrespect her. I just refused to let Mrs. Adesua choose my wife like she is shopping for yam in the market. Ah, but brother, you know how Mama is. Just play along a little, let her calm down. Play along? Obinna, they literally brought photos of women like they are products in a catalogue. Yes, that is how Nigerian marriage is. Are you seeing it for the first time? Obinna's tone was frustratingly casual. Just pick one, do an introduction, then see if it can work. If it does not work, you break it off. Simple. Nothing about that is simple. Brother, you are thinking too much. Just... Obinna paused. Wait, the way you are so angry like this, there is something else. Do you like that Amara girl? What? No. I mean, it is not like that. Brother. I have seen how you look at her. But let me tell you the truth. Mama will never agree. That girl has nothing. And you know that in our family, the person our first son marries should have proper background. She has education. Education that she cannot show a certificate for. Brother, wake up. That girl has secrets. Maybe she ran from somewhere. Maybe she did something bad. You do not know anything about her. I know enough. You know what? That she is beautiful. That she has good English. Brother, half of the Runs girls in Port Harcourt have good English and beautiful faces. It does not mean they are wife material. Chidi ended the call. His frustration was reaching a boiling point. Everyone had an opinion about who he should marry. They had ideas about what kind of woman was suitable and what his choice said about him. But nobody, not his mother, not his brother, not Mrs. Adesua with her folder of prospects. Nobody asked what he wanted. And what did he want? The honest answer scared him, because every time he tried to picture his future, the woman standing beside him had Amara's face. Saturday morning, Chidi woke with a decision made. He would take Amara somewhere away from his mother's watchful eyes and judgmental relatives. Somewhere they could talk honestly. Somewhere he could finally get answers to the questions that plagued him. He called Mama first. He said he needed Amara's help picking out furniture for his house. It was a believable excuse since Mama knew his interior decorator had been annoying him about finishing the guest room. Why do you need her help? Mama's voice was suspicious. I thought you have a decorator. The woman does not understand what I want. She keeps suggesting nonsense. Amara has good taste. I saw how she arranged the kitchen. A long pause. Okay, but Chidi, remember what I said yesterday. Do not do anything foolish. Yes, Mama. When he arrived to pick up Amara, he found her dressed in one of Mama's old but well-maintained outfits. It was a simple Ankara top and black skirt. Her bruises had faded enough that makeup mostly hid them. Her hair was neatly braided. She looked beautiful and nervous. Sir, Mama said you want help with furniture. Her voice was carefully neutral, but he saw the question in her eyes. What is this really about? Get in. We will talk on the way. They drove in silence through Port Harcourt's Saturday morning traffic. It was lighter than weekday chaos, but still characteristically messy. Chidi drove through Rumiola, heading toward the less busy roads near the waterfront. Where are we going? Amara finally asked. Someplace quiet. I want to talk, and I am tired of having an audience. He took her to a small restaurant he knew, near the Port Harcourt tourist beach. It was a place where business people went for private meetings. The owner, a widow named Mrs. Bassey, greeted him warmly. She showed them to a private table on the terrace overlooking the water. After they had ordered peppered snail and fish, with freshly squeezed zobo to drink, Chidi leaned back in his chair and studied Amara. She sat with perfect posture, her hands folded in her lap, her eyes on the water rather than him. Are you going to tell me the truth? He asked quietly. About what, sir? Stop calling me sir. My name is Chidi. Okay, Chidi. She said his name carefully, as if testing how it felt. And you know what I am asking about. Who you really are. Why a woman who can teach university-level calculus and speaks like she studied at Oxford is selling water in traffic. Amara was quiet for a long time. When she finally spoke, her voice was so soft, he had to lean forward to hear. If I tell you, you will think differently of me. Try me. She looked at him then. Really looked at him. He saw fear in her eyes, not of him, but of his judgment. She stopped.